God says you have been sensing something in your spirit for a long time now, something you couldn't fully explain in words, but you could feel it in your chest, your intuition, your silence, and your private moments with God. There is a reason your heart has been unsettled, a reason your mind keeps returning to the same questions, a reason you keep replaying certain conversations, certain actions, certain inconsistencies. God has been stirring something inside you because the truth has been living behind a curtain for far too long, and the time has come for that curtain to fall. He pretends to be faithful, but God is about to show you the real story. There are moments when God allows you to see only enough to stay aware but not enough to confront. Moments when He lets you feel the shift but not yet understand the full cause. Moments when He keeps you awake at night, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because before God reveals truth, He strengthens the heart that must face it. Before God exposes someone's real intentions, He stabilizes the person who will have to walk away if necessary. You have been in that preparation season without realizing it. Every silent moment, every uneasy thought, every sudden question that rose in your spirit, none of it was random. God has been placing light in areas where this person hoped you'd never look. You have given trust where trust was not honored. You have extended grace where responsibility was not taken. You have forgiven behaviors that should have been corrected. You have tried to believe the best even when evidence kept pointing toward something else. You have held on with love while someone else held on with convenience. God saw all of it. God watched every tear you wiped quietly so no one would notice. God listened to the prayers where you said, "Lord, if I'm wrong, show me. But if something's off, don't let me ignore it." And God heard you. This person has been pretending loyalty with words but breaking loyalty with actions. They have been presenting stability while living in instability behind the scenes. They have been offering promises they never intended to keep long-term. They have been giving you part of their truth, but not the full truth, hoping the little they give is enough to blind you from what they hide. But you do not walk in darkness, you walk with God. And God does not allow His child to stay blinded forever. When someone builds a connection on half-truths, God eventually brings the other half into the light. You have already felt this shift. You have already sensed that something in their tone, their effort, their explanations, their availability, their energy has not been matching what faithfulness is supposed to look like. You didn't imagine it. You didn't overthink it. Your spirit was alert because God was whispering, "Watch closely." You started noticing patterns, how they say one thing but do another, how they justify inconsistencies with emotional excuses, how they act like everything is fine when your heart feels differently. You tried to silence that feeling, but God refused to let you, because the truth is this: the person who is meant for you doesn't need to pretend. Faithful love doesn't need to rehearse loyalty. Genuine commitment doesn't require performance. Real intentions don't fluctuate depending on who is watching and who isn't. What God blesses does not come with confusion, anxiety, or emotional imbalance. What God approves, He gives peace about. What God ordains carries honesty, clarity, and spiritual alignment. Anything else is a distraction disguised as affection, and God is about to remove that disguise completely. You're not crazy for noticing the little things. You're not dramatic for feeling what you felt. You're not asking for too much by expecting loyalty, consistency, transparency, and truth. God placed those expectations in you because He created you for real love, not diluted love, not conditional love, not intermittent attention, not masked intentions. And when someone offers anything lower than what God designed you for, heaven begins to intervene. This person thought they could keep two worlds separated, the world they show you and the world they hide. They believed their charm was enough to cover their contradiction. They thought your heart was too soft to recognize deception. They assumed your forgiveness was permission. They assumed your quietness was blindness. They assumed your patience was acceptance. But God is about to shatter that assumption. Not to break you, but to break you free. You have reached the point where God will not allow this person's half-truths to be the foundation of your life anymore. You have served your season with them, and now God is shifting the season itself. The truth is coming, and it won't come through your guessing. It won't come through your anxiety. It won't come through your searching. It will come through revelation, clear, undeniable, divine exposure. God will reveal conversations you didn't hear. God will show actions you didn't see. God will uncover motives you didn't notice. And when it happens, you will finally understand why your spirit has been restless. This exposure will not be meant to embarrass you. It will be meant to empower you. It will not be meant to hurt you. It will be meant to free you. It will not be meant to break your heart. It will be meant to protect your destiny. Every unanswered question will receive clarity. Every confusion will receive closure. Every doubt will receive confirmation. God is about to illuminate the parts of this person's life they never wanted you to witness, and you will finally understand the truth behind the performance. You might think you won't be ready for what is coming, but you will. God has already been softening the parts of your heart that were once too attached. God has already been loosening the emotional grip that once kept you bound. God has already been placing distance in places where you used to feel closeness. God has already been shifting your desires, your thinking, your expectations. You are not the same you that you were when you first gave this person your heart. You've grown. You've matured. You've awakened. And that awakening is why exposure is coming now, because you are spiritually strong enough to face truth without collapsing. He pretends to be faithful, but God is about to show you the real story. Not to destroy your view of love, but to redirect it. Not to punish you, but to promote you. Not to end something, but to begin something better. This exposure will be the final confirmation that what you were holding onto was too small, too unstable, too inconsistent for the future God is preparing for you. Faithfulness is not something you should ever have to beg for, question, or chase. The right person will give it effortlessly because it's who they are, not who they pretend to be. You're not losing anything when God exposes truth. You're gaining yourself back. You're gaining peace back. You're gaining clarity back. You're gaining purpose back. You're gaining alignment back. And soon you will thank God for the very season you once cried about. Because when truth arrives, confusion dies. When truth arrives, peace returns. When truth arrives, you finally see what God was saving you from, even when you thought you were missing out. There is more. There is much more. This is only the beginning of the revelation God is preparing for you. God has been watching every detail that you believed went unnoticed. The conversations that suddenly became vague. The explanations that stopped sounding convincing. The changes in tone when you asked simple questions. The shift in energy when honesty was required. Sometimes the truth doesn't reveal itself in dramatic events, it reveals itself in subtle shifts, small inconsistencies, little details that your spirit catches even when your mind tries to ignore them. God allowed you to sense these things because He never wants His child walking blind into emotional danger. You have been protected long before you even realized you needed protection. The person you trusted thought their silence would hide their intentions. They thought keeping things unspoken would keep you from discovering what they were really doing. They believed that if they kept you emotionally close, they could keep their secrets safe. But God doesn't let hidden things stay hidden forever, especially when those hidden things can wound your heart more deeply later. God is exposing it now so it doesn't break you later. He is revealing it now while you still have the strength to walk away. He is opening your eyes now so you do not spend years tied to someone whose loyalty only existed when convenient. You may wonder why God didn't show you everything sooner. Why He let you believe in this connection for as long as you did. Why He allowed your heart to invest in someone who wasn't investing in you with the same purity. But what you don't see is that even in the moments that felt like mistakes, God was still working for your growth. Sometimes God lets you walk through temporary attachment so you can discover your long-term value. Sometimes He lets you experience a counterfeit so you know how to recognize the real thing when it arrives. Sometimes He lets you hold on to someone who is not right for you so you will never again settle for someone who cannot love you truthfully. Every tear you cried was not wasted. Every moment you doubted yourself was not meaningless. Every time you said, "Maybe it's me," God was taking note of how your heart was carrying weight that wasn't yours to carry. You have blamed yourself for emotional imbalances that were caused by someone else's dishonesty. You questioned your worth because someone else was too unstable to be consistent. You lowered your expectations because someone else was too afraid to rise to them. But God is about to correct every false belief you formed from this situation. He is about to show you that the issue was never your heart, it was who you gave it to. When God exposes truth, your first reaction might hurt, but your second reaction will liberate you. You will feel the sting of disappointment, but behind that sting, you will feel the calmness of clarity, the peace that comes when lies lose their power. Confusion will fall away. Doubt will disappear. You will stop wondering, what if? And finally understand. Oh, this is why God didn't let my spirit rest. For months, maybe even years, God has been placing signs in front of you, not to scare you but to prepare you. Because the moment truth comes, you will walk away with the strength you didn't have when you first entered this season. This person thought they could keep you emotionally attached while keeping their options spiritually open. They thought they could maintain your trust while managing their distractions. They thought they could offer you just enough effort to keep you hopeful, but not enough truth to keep you secure. But God is saying, enough. Enough of the confusion. Enough of the inconsistency. Enough of the imbalance. Enough of the half-truths. Enough of you pouring from your heart while they poured from convenience. Enough of you treating them with loyalty while they treated you with uncertainty. God is stepping in because your heart is too valuable to be played with. You may not see it now, but this exposure is not an ending, it is preparation for something greater. God is removing the wrong person because the right one is approaching. God is shutting the door on the pretender because he is about to open the door for someone authentic. Someone who doesn't only speak loyalty but lives it. Someone who won't require you to question their intentions. Someone who will match your spirit, your effort, your love, and your honesty. Someone who won't be intimidated by your standards but inspired by them. Someone who will thank God for you, not take advantage of your presence, but before God gives you what you deserve, He must remove what delays it. You cannot be tied to deception and expect destiny to unfold freely. You cannot love someone who hides their truth and expect peace to stay. You cannot continue in confusion and expect clarity to guide you. God is cleaning the emotional space around you because what He is preparing for your future cannot coexist with someone who is unfaithful in spirit, in intention, or in action. You will notice something shifting inside you soon, something quiet but powerful. You will start losing emotional tolerance for what once broke you. You will stop justifying their behavior. You will stop feeling guilty for wanting truth. You will stop making excuses on their behalf. You will stop accepting breadcrumbs when God created you for abundance. The more God reveals, the more your spirit will detach, not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of clarity. God will remove the emotional fog they created and replace it with discernment. There will come a moment, sooner than you realize, when everything will suddenly make sense. The things you questioned. The moments you ignored. The emotions you suppressed. the disappointments you brushed aside, the intuition you tried to silence. All of it will align. And in that moment, God will give you the strength to say, "This is not love. This is not honesty. This is not God's plan for me." And you will walk away, not broken, but awakened. As God brings this chapter to its end, He is not asking you to stay strong on your own. He is not expecting you to walk away by relying only on your own courage. He is guiding you step by step, softening your heart in certain areas, strengthening it in others, and slowly removing the emotional weight that kept you tethered to someone who was never fully honest with you. You may feel the sadness of release, but you will also feel the peace of alignment. That peace is your confirmation. That peace is the sign that God has stepped in, taken over, and is steering you towards something far more stable than what you've known. This person will feel the distance growing. They will sense that the control they once had over your emotions is fading. They will notice that your responses are no longer wrapped in fear, and your heart is no longer waiting for their validation. They will see the shift they never expected, a shift in your posture, your tone, your discernment. Because once God reveals truth, your soul cannot go back to pretending everything is fine. You can love someone and still outgrow them. You can care for someone and still walk away from what is not aligned with God's plan. This exposure will be the turning point. After this, you will move differently. Your spirit will become more selective. Your heart will become more guarded in the right ways, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You will stop giving the wrong people easy access to the deepest parts of you. You will not be as quick to trust words without consistency. You will expect actions to match promises. This season taught you standards that heartbreak never could. It taught you that loyalty is not proven by what someone says when everything is calm, but by what they do when truth is required. And now you know the difference. There may be moments when you miss the idea of what you thought they could be. But the truth that God reveals will stop you from running back into illusions. When you remember the inconsistency, the doubt, the emotional instability, the way they protected their secrets more than they protected your heart, you will realize that losing them is not a loss. It is a rescue. A divine rescue from a future built on dishonesty. A future where you would have been the one carrying all the weight. A future where your love would have kept trying while their intentions stayed divided. God refused to let that be your story. Your heart is too precious for someone who only gave you fractions of their truth. Your spirit is too sensitive for someone who thought loyalty was optional. Your soul is too deep for someone who stayed in shallow waters. God is setting you apart for a kind of love that doesn't hide, doesn't pretend, doesn't require performance. A love that is faithful even when no one is watching. A love that speaks without fear and stays without conditions. A love that aligns with your purpose, not competes with it. A love that grows with you, not drains you, Soon you will look back and understand why God didn't let you settle. Why He stirred your spirit. Why He revealed the signs. Why He brought everything hidden into the light. You will realize God wasn't trying to take something from you. He was trying to protect your future, your purpose, your peace, and your destiny. When God removes someone, it is always a release from what your heart was never meant to carry forever. In the coming days, you will notice the weight lifting. Conversations that once bothered you will no longer matter. Thoughts that once consumed you will lose their power. The person who once felt like your whole world will become just another part of your past. And you will finally understand that the real story God was preparing to show you was not just about their unfaithfulness, it was about your awakening. It was about your value. It was about the level of love God knows you deserve. It was about setting you up for a future that no lie, no secret, no deception could survive in. God is closing this door with force because He is preparing to open another one with favor. A door that leads to real love, real loyalty, real alignment, real peace. A door that leads you to someone who will meet you where you are and grow with you from there. Someone who will not take advantage of your heart but protect it. Someone who will see your worth without needing to be convinced. Someone who will be faithful not because you ask for it, but because it's who they truly are. Someone who will be everything this other person pretended to be. You are stepping into a season where truth will lead you, peace will surround you, and clarity will guide you. The pain will not follow you. The confusion will not follow you. The person who hid their intentions will not follow you into this new chapter. God has already cut that cord spiritually. All that's left is for you to walk forward. And when you do, you will feel God's presence stronger than ever, not pushing you, but walking beside you. This final truth is for your heart. God is not exposing this story to break you, He is exposing it to rebuild you. He is restoring your confidence, your discernment, your emotional strength, your ability to trust again, and your belief in real love. You are not walking into a future shaped by what someone hid from you. You are walking into a future shaped by what God is preparing for you. And what He is preparing is so much greater, so much healthier, so much more aligned than anything you are leaving behind. Your heart will heal. Your spirit will rise. And everything that was unclear will soon make sense. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of the chapter God always wanted you to reach.